Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. As always, guys, if you are enjoying the content, finding it useful, please be sure to smash the like button. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you check out Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that at the top of the chat. Discount opportunities will be available there when we do launch, so make sure you do look out for that. And of course, you can join in discussions, share trading opportunities. I share some of the opportunities I'm looking at as well. So if you are interested, feel free to check it out. But good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone is well. What's up, FX Wolf? Okay, we'll take a look at Euro Yen, Pound Yen as well. What's up, Will? Welcome to the stream. Karis, hope you're doing good. Ooh, music is still playing. My bad. Hopefully you could hear me. That is poor. I had issues with the mic last week. Now I'm leaving the music going on. Poor for me, guys. Poor for me. But I hope everyone is well, and hopefully you can hear me better now. Good morning, Karis. Good morning, Will. Good morning, FX Wolf. We'll go through some yen pairs. What's up, Kadam? Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing good. Top of the morning to you as well. I'm just going to call you Sib, to be fair. I think that's a nice little nickname. What's up, Sib? Welcome to the stream. The low talked about yesterday, Aussie Chef H4 broke, waiting for the pullback. Okay, looking for the pullback. Then we short this baby. Okay, yeah, we'll go through that as well. What's up, Darkashon? Yeah, thanks for letting me know. Dre, what's up? Good morning. Hope you're doing good. Aussie dollar took a dive. Yes, it did. Might as well turn into a head and shoulders. Could potentially do that as well. It was pretty bearish. Aussie dollar, because we had the news yesterday as well for Aussie, which we spoke about in the early hours of the morning, which came out pretty bearish for Aussie, which helped me out my Aussie CHF trade. Although I'm still pretty bullish on the Aussie dollar. I'm still looking for a really big buy in Aussie dollar. I'm still looking for a big buy in NZUSD, and we'll go through them respectively. But first, I'll go through some yen pairs because FX Wolf has requested. And then we're just going to dedicate a few minutes to go through some USD pairs and see what's cooking in the world of the dollar. So the morning speakers, Aussie CHF is moving. Yeah, it finally moved. Told you Aussie CHF will feed you first. Yeah, finally. Only took about a week to play out. But yeah, at least it's moving. We'll go through some of those trades as well. But we'll start with the yen pairs. So yen pairs, I'm still bearish. On higher time frames. Now, things are not looking good for that bearish bias. I'm still sitting on pound yen as well. Hasn't been taken out the trade yet. So I'm just going to let that play out either till it comes back into profit or it takes me out for a loss and I'll move on. We'll touch on that in a moment. But yeah, with the yen pairs, some look better than others, at least for my bearish bias, and that comes from the higher time frames. Really, I'm still looking at a lower high developing, another push down. I may be right halfway. We might see some movement halfway, and then price puts a higher low and continues. That could be the call. But I still do think we've got to move down. I like Swiss yen. It's still trading at this high. It's sort of breaking through, but I can see a world where we come back below. And if we can do that with a lot of momentum, that'll tell me, okay, price is still just about holding onto that piece of structure. And I do think we can see some downside from then onwards. How far we go is a different question. I think as we come back into the areas like such, these are good areas to look at taking partials, managing a trade, because we could definitely bounce at those areas around 169. So I still do like these yen pairs to downside. Swiss yen is still in a relatively nice area. It just needs to come back below. If it doesn't and it holds the support and it starts pushing away, then I'll reanalyze, and probably at that point I would change my high time frame bias to bullish, and then I'll be looking at longs and some pullbacks, a high low somewhere, and looking for some buys, maybe coming back into that same area I just mentioned. So I can see the world where we do have that bigger push to the upside, but I'm not looking at a move just yet. I'm still in a bearish mindset now with Swiss. I'm anticipating price coming back inside that range. If it doesn't, like I said, we'll reanalyze and probably look for the buys later on. But if it does come back inside, then I'm looking at something like this happening. and a continuation lower. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for Swiss, but we've got to stay patient because it's kind of here nor there, at least on the higher time frames for now. With dollar yen, we've seen some downside. This one's a bit awkward because USD is still relatively strong as well. So it's kind of like, will USD keep that strength on? And we'll talk more about that when we get to USD and DXY. But I still do like a dollar yen to the downside as well. The two levels, which I said look good for some shorts on the weekend, which is this high here, which we more or less come into, but more or less missed it by a few pips at the same time as well. And I like the high here. So 149, 152, the two areas where I like on the daily chart where I do think we can reverse and see some downside. If this level doesn't hold, I'll look for shorts there and expect some downside. At the moment, it looks really corrective, dollar yen. We've had a really big push off the NFP. Now price is kind of moving to the downside very correctively. So in my book, it looks like we probably will get another push to the upside because you'd want to see strong momentum here if we're going to just bleed to the downside from here. The fact that the market's still very corrective, we're still getting a lot of wicks to the downside, tells me we're more likely going to form a higher low at some point and push up again. So maybe at that attempt, we get the sell or we get the push to there, then we get the sell. But that's kind of what I'm looking at for dollar yen. So if you're on a intraday time frame looking for some intraday setups, I think the buys look good in the meantime with dollar yen because of how corrective we are and possibly a buy back to the high. And if USD keeps up its strength, you might see that happen there for dollar yen as well. So a push to 149.5. But the bigger move on the daily chart, I'm still looking at as a bearish move as well. So maybe some intraday buys for some swing sells. That's kind of what I'm looking at. Probably for a lot of these yen pairs. Aussie yen as well. It looks like it's bleeding and starting to come back inside the high here. So that for me is very, very important because, as I said, if it does break through the high and sustains that, then I'll completely throw out my bearish bias, but it's not. It's coming back inside. So I'm wondering if this is a bit of a fake out, taking some stop losses above here, and now potentially we're getting ready for the move. I'm kind of looking at something like that now for Aussie yen and liking the momentum. Of course, the news kind of helped out this one yesterday. But if it keeps this up, there could be some nice shorts on the back end of that for some downside as well. Definitely if we take out the low here, but I'm not sold on the buys just yet. I need price to really break structure. And again, I'm speaking from a daily point of view as well. Of course, intraday, we had a lot of bullish momentum and buys look good there. But from a daily standpoint and a swing standpoint, I still think this is going to be the big move as we do come back inside that range. But now I want to see a strong daily candle close below, which may or may not happen today. We'll find out in about 11 hours and 43 minutes. But if we do get that close, then that really does build confidence and confluence in that bearish bias that I do have. New Zealand yen still doing a pretty good job at respecting the high there as well. So I think this one short still look good as we approach that high. Price kept banging its head on that same level. Really nice place for some shorts. And now we're seeing some downside again for New Zealand yen. I'm looking at this as the bigger move. We've got a really strong low here. I feel like that's a nice swing target there. Of course, we're kind of in a bit of a range right now, really, to be honest. So if you want some clarity and some nice shorts on New Zealand yen, I think a break of this range will look good. And looking for some retest on the low, could like a nice little trade there. But in terms of direction, I'm still bearish bias until we start breaking the high here and start putting some higher highs and higher lows in. In terms of pound yen, I'm still just about holding on to this one. It isn't moving particularly well, and I say that because it looks like pound yen is actually rebounding on that level of resistance, and that's using as support. You can see if I drag this away, I'm kind of using as support for those wicks there. So that's a bit of a red flag for at least my bearish position. I understand on the intraday level, people probably be looking to buy here, anticipating that next high low, and rightly so, because it does look like we're in a nice area where that could happen. It's just that for me, the bigger move for pound yen, I'm still looking at it being to the downside. So with the buys here on pound yen around 193.300, I think they do look good. A lot of wicks in the 4 hour, a lot of rejection down the hourly as well. Nice bullish engulf in there as well. So I do think we probably will see that push. I just expect us to topple out and come back down. Maybe as you approach the high there. Then again, if you can ride that move, that's a really nice trade in itself as well. So again, for pound yen, the bigger move, I'm still looking at it to be to the downside. as with the other yen pairs as well. But intraday, you're probably looking at some buys there. And I'm going to hold onto this trade and see how it goes. If I need to look for re-entries, if things change, I will look for re-entries. But for now, I'm still going to hold into this position and see if we can get that big drop to the downside. Not moving particularly well, though, I have to admit. And Euro yen, same thing as well. You can see we're getting those higher highs and higher lows here. So again, intraday, we probably will see that push to the upside. So I think intraday buys are still your best bet. You can see prices really struggling at the lows here. It looks like we are putting the next higher low. So you probably will be looking at push at least back to the high here intraday. But again, on the daily chart, I'm still looking at a big move to the downside as we approach the high here. I still do think we can go through a really big sell-off back into the lows, as long as we can hold on to that and don't start seeing some crazy breakouts with Euro yen. So it depends what you're looking for. Depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for some swings, now's not the time to be looking to buy. If you're looking for a big swing there as we approach the high here, but if you're looking for some intraday buys, intra-week, you can get away with it because the market's still, with that momentum from NFP last week, and we've got that high we can go and retest. And in terms of CAD yen is coming back inside the high here. So CAD yen is looking interesting in terms of sales again, because CAD yen did break through the high here, but it's come straight back below the next day. So again, if we can keep that up, to me, I'll be looking at something like this for CAD yen, back into lows here and potentially a lot further as well. So yeah, I mean, it needs to clean up because we're still looking like we're forming higher highs and higher lows. So I kind of want price to break structure first and give a nice little retest there for a short. But again, in terms of the swing, in terms of the bigger move, I'm still looking at something like this for CAD yen. And that's kind of where I'm at with the yen pairs, to be honest, guys. That's kind of where I'm at. Potentially, you might be going through that big reversal and seeing big buys come back into the market. But the levels I've talked about, which are kind of keeping me bearish, are still sort of intact. Some more than others. And I want to see price really break through them. And then that's when I'll completely change my bias. But for now, I'm holding out that short bias until proven otherwise. But yeah, it's been an awkward one for the yen pairs. It's been an awkward one. I know a few of you are looking to get involved. I think Holy One mentioned pound yen and euro yen yesterday. FX Wolf, you're talking about pound yen this morning as well. Okay, your first name is Sid. Okay, I'll just call you Sid then. We'll go through some USD pairs. Then we'll go through Aussie CHF as well. Aussie yen, we'll take a look. Okay, Aussie CHF and Aussie yen have been good to you the past 48 hours, so I guess you've been selling them both then. Okay, close CHF JPY in profit. Not long off the stream. Okay, fair enough. Being in dollar CHF by 3 hours. Okay. What's up, Scarlett? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Could you please take a look at gold and silver? Yes, we'll go through gold and silver and we go through the USD pairs as well. Oh, GJ still hasn't given you buy signal. Okay. I thought you'd be in the trade already, Hodu, for GJ. Because I'm pretty sure you had the... No, I'm thinking about something else. I thought you had a buy signal for something yesterday. I thought that'd be pound gem. Anyway, so we'll go through some USD pairs and we'll go through silver and gold whilst we're at it. We'll take a look at Aussie CHF as well. So yeah, with the USD pairs, I'm still looking at big buys for them. In particular, NZD and Aussie dollar. I like those two the most. Euro and pound look good as well. It's just that I like Aussie and New Zealand dollar because they've had some really big drops. And now they're approaching some big levels where, again, for me with Aussie dollar, as long as we stay above this low here, I'm bullish. So if we come all the way back into this area and still respect it, I'm still looking for buys to take price to the upside. And the USD, likewise as well, as long as we can respect this low here where we're at right now, I'm looking for buys for the USD. If we start breaking through that, it's not that we can't go bullish anymore. It just makes things a little bit more awkward. And the momentum that we once had, it's kind of faded a little bit. And of course, breaking structure as well. But for Aussie dollar, that low is still a long way away. As we approach this area over here, That's going to be my next level of interest. If that breaks, then finally 0.665 will be the level. And then I'll look for some buys there to take it back to the high. We all said that we could potentially be forming a bit of a head and shoulder pattern. That could be true as well. With the left, the head, and possibly the right shoulder for some downside as well. And that could be the case, but I still do like the buys. And even if we do go and form that right shoulder somewhere, hopefully by then, I'll probably will be break even or at least trading a stop loss as well. So we'll be floating in some profit at least. So if that right shoulder does form, I'll still walk away for hopefully a small win or at least a break even by that stage. And if we don't see that high and we keep going, then could look at be a big win there. So either way, it could be a win-win situation. But for me, Aussie dollar still coming back into some really nice bullish territory. If you look at how price is moving with Aussie dollar, it's a very, very choppy market. So a bigger pullback in this scenario is kind of expected. We're not necessarily trending cleanly. We're quite choppy. So pullbacks and corrections are going to be a bit more aggressive, a bit bigger in these conditions. So you have to take that into consideration. But for now, I am definitely still looking to buy Aussie dollar if I get the opportunity to do so. Same thing for NZUSD. If I can see some momentum creep in from here, then I'll look for a buy. Entries like this, stops underneath the level, and then we'll see how far we can take it. But I expect us to come back into the high there. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on NZUSD. Euro, I'm looking at something similar as well. It hasn't quite come tested my level yet, so it's not really something I'm focused on just yet. Whereas NZUSD has already tested the area on a buy from. But these two areas I'm looking at for Euro to find some support and push up. At the moment, Euro is looking pretty corrective, I must say. We have seen a little bit of upside there, but that looks pretty corrective to me. So I'm kind of thinking that we're kind of correcting this bearish move here. I'm probably going to see another drop there, maybe this afternoon or tomorrow sometime. So I'm kind of expecting to see a bit of a drop. Looking at the DXY as well, we've seen a bit of a correction here. This was NFP on Friday. We've slowly pushed down, but that looks like a correction to me rather than a reversal. So again, I think we'll probably push up as well. It may just be a temporary push up before we get the sell. Not necessarily it might trend higher, but I think the next move will probably take us up anyway. Then we can see what price does back at the high, whether we reverse or get the breakout. But in terms of areas which I want to get active and look for buying opportunities, it definitely is 1.094, 0.095, and then 1.09 down there as well. So those are my levels which I want to buy from. If you're looking to sell, you need price to start to retrace a little bit more. I mentioned this area here as an intraday area for a short. That could look good to take it down. But yeah, for me, I'm only interested in the buys. Okay, you always take buys, but in case you just trade a stop loss. Yeah, it makes sense. Again, trade management is pretty much as important as finding entry, finding a stop loss, and finding a exit as well. Trade management is very, very important. So yeah, if the market is going to put that lower high in that head and shoulder and reverse, we should be into profit by then. Of course, depending on the entry and whatnot, we should be in profit by then and probably trailed by then as well. So worst case scenario, you still walk away with a smaller win. And if it doesn't form the right shoulder, happy days. We can get a really big push, hopefully back to the high there at 0.69 and maybe beyond as well. We'll see what happens. But both Aussie and New Zealand dollar looking really good to buy. So yeah, the other position I'm in is Aussie CHF, which had a nice drop yesterday and last night as well with the Aussie news that came out. So I've now managed to trail my stop loss to break even where my entry price is. I haven't trailed into profit yet. Kind of want to see a little bit more downside before I do that. But we have just about come into this high here. So this is definitely a high that could possibly push us back up again. So that's why I remove risk. And we're kind of almost halfway to my target, really. Entry there, that's kind of halfway, and that's my target there. So I've removed risk. I will be looking to trail, but I may just exit if we can get back to that low because it's such a big level. I don't want to be trying to bet price breaking through. It could do, of course, but it's been such a strong area. So if we can get there, I think I'll just call it a day and take the profit. I mean, it's around a 1 to 3 there anyway, so I won't complain. But yeah, nice drop there yesterday after being in the position for about a week. I think I entered on Tuesday. Yeah, last week Tuesday, and it's Tuesday already. So it did take a while to get going, but we're looking good. So hopefully maybe a minor correction and then a push down, and that's when I can start looking to trail and hopefully can go a little bit further. But now that that position is at break even and there's no risk on the table anymore, I'm only just juggling this pound yen trade now. So I'm happy to get into another position. And I'm kind of hoping it might be a USD trade because I'm really trading CHF, really trading yen. So trading USD can kind of be a bit of a hedge really to the other two positions. But in terms of where my focus is anyway, is definitely with the USD pairs. I'm not going to look to get into any more yen until that trade has sorted itself out. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. We'll take a look at silver and gold as well. If I have missed out a market someone has mentioned, just drop it in the chat, and again we'll take a look. Take a look at that USD CHF market as well. Holy one, see what you're cooking up on that chart as well. Okay, you're buying USD, Euro, Yen, Pound, Yen because it looks like the monthly and the 3-month is bullish and the weekly has switched to accommodate that. Yeah, again, possibly the market is turning around and looking to rejoin that larger trend. If that's the case, then I'll wait for these levels to break and price to really push away. Then I'll look for my opportunities afterwards and try and catch that higher low there. But for now, as price respects this area, I'm still bearish bias until broken. So that's how I see it at the moment. Okay, hit take profit. Nice. Well done. Congratulations on that position. Okay, we'll look at CAD-Gen as well. Kadam, quick question. How do you manage Aussie CHF now that you're in the green zone? Do we trail stop loss in the full while? Please guide here thing. Well, it depends how you want to manage it. There's no right or necessarily wrong way. You could look to secure partials. You could look to trade a stop. You could already have a stop loss trailed above the high here if you want to. It's up to you really. I'm giving myself a bit more room because I know the pair's a bit choppy. You can see how it moves quite zigzaggy. So I don't want to be too aggressive with my trail stop loss, which is why I just at break even for now. So I'm giving it a bit more room to play out. But again, you need to have a system for it. It's not something you do spontaneously unless you've pre-planned it. So you could look to secure partials, go to break even, and then take rest the profit down there, or you can look to trail it, above the low. There's no right or wrong answer, but the way I'm doing it is I'm locking my stop loss there. If I can see price go and break through this area, then I'll start thinking about trailing it above that low there, and then I'll look to, if we can get there, exit completely there as well. So that's the kind of way I'm managing it, but the market conditions have played a big role in that. But if you're looking for a way to manage your trades, I would say create like a simple system, break even after 1 or 2 hour profit, maybe take 50% of your position and leave the rest to run to your target, something like that, just to make everything systematic is a good way of doing it. But at the moment, I'm break even. FR, what's up? Yeah, quality analysis on Euro Aussie last week. Okay, appreciate it. That's not even the pair I'm really looking at, to be honest. At least personally, of course, I'll have a look at it on stream, but it's not really a pair I'm looking to trade personally. But we'll see what's happening with Euro Aussie. I know Aussie's been pretty weak, so that means Euro Aussie has been pushing up as well. But yeah, we'll go take a look at Euro Aussie at some point. Let me just go through silver and gold. So silver and gold, two markets which I'm still pretty bullish on. Looks like silver as well, but looks like gold is seeing some downside here. And yeah, it looks like we're seeing a bit of a correction because if you look at how price is moving, It's like we were speeding up as we're pushing up, becoming more exponential. But it looks like price has now got to a point where we're finding resistance and we might be going for a bigger pullback. At the moment on the 4 hour, it's kind of consolidation really with gold, to be honest. It's kind of consolidation really. So I think the best way to trade this, or simplest way to trade this, is wait for price to break the high and look for opportunities above that. Because if we're going to break the high with momentum, like we did over here, as well, then I'm expecting to see that correction come into play, a retest of the level potentially, and then we can take it, to the upside. And that becomes just a very simple idea and way to trade gold. Because if gold is going to stay in this very exponential bullish trend, and we're just going to see a lot of momentum, then you expect us to break out with strong candlesticks and just to keep flying. So I like that break and retest opportunity if we can break to the upside. You can also look to buy down low and anticipate price being bullish from here on. It's a bit more of an aggressive trade because you're anticipating the bottom of the pullback. But of course, if you are going to see that move, you can make money on the way up as well, and then you can look to add additional trades on the breakout. So you're going to really milk gold for all it's worth on this next continuation. So there's two ways of looking at it. I would only be looking at buys. That's my kind of outlook with gold, because it's just so bullish. So I wouldn't be looking to sell it at all. So it's either we go for the more aggressive buy, which is down at the low, stop loss, down there somewhere, and then try and trade it back to the high of the range. Or if you're looking to wait for the breakout, wait for momentum to get involved, then you wait for price to take out the high and then get involved. But those are the two opportunities that make sense to me. Anything in here, I would avoid. I wouldn't touch it, even on the lower time frames, just because the market's a bit too choppy. And it's difficult to get really nice entries and stop losses when the market conditions are like that. So yeah, I'd wait for the breakout or wait for entries around here. Probably can look for something on the hourly. In fact, that's a nice entry on the hourly there. Get a stop underneath that low. See if you can get a push back to some of these points there. That looks like a nice little trade in itself. And maybe if you're lucky, you can leave positions to run and see maybe if you can get a really big breakout. But the way I'm looking at gold right now is that we're still bullish. We're in a bit of a pause right now. I do think we'll continue to fly. All right, no problem, Will. Have a good one, my man. We'll see you next. I don't know why I said see you next week. I'm thinking today's Friday. Today's not Friday. I'll see you tomorrow. Ben, what's up? Did you hold on to the Aussie CHF shorts? Yes, I did. I told you when it gets going, it really gets going. Yeah, I did hold on to the Aussie CHF shorts. It was been a long hold. I got in last Tuesday, and it's Tuesday this week, so it's been a full week since I've been in the trade. But yeah, I managed to hold into the position, and now I'm break even. Still holding out for a push back into the low here. And I want to see a bit more downside before I start looking to trail. But yeah, it's been a nice move. It really did burst the downside. All that consolidation kind of just, built up pressure, and we kind of just burst the downside. So I like that a lot from Aussie CHF, kind of rewarding me for staying in that trade all that time. But hopefully we can see a bit more downside than that. It's a quite choppy pair, so I'm not expecting prices to completely melt like that. I think it'll probably push up a little bit, consolidate, and then maybe do something like that. So yeah, we'll see how things get going on. But I am break even now, so I'm just gonna roll with the punches now with Aussie CHF. And yeah, in terms of silver I like. It's pretty straightforward, at least for the opportunity I'm looking at. Because I'm very bullish in silver, so I want to see it break the high of this daily swing point here, 32.3 roughly. It's been a really strong high, gave us a really big pullback over here. And now price is trying to break through that again, but it's failing pretty miserably. So it's either price is going to have a bigger drop, probably to test the high here, then we can see what price does. Possibly some buys coming back into the market. You got a low there, higher low there as well. So that to me looks like a nice buy point. Or we just get the breakout and then look for the buy there as well. And that looks pretty good to me as well. But again, with silver, again with gold, just looking for more upside. Not interested in the sells until I see some signs, clearer signs of reversal, which at the moment is not there to be seen. So yeah, with silver, I like the buys. Of course, not now. At the moment, we're rejecting the high there. If anything, it's not a bad place to short, actually. If we push up again, see another big wick rejection like we did over here and over here. If we do a third time, you're looking at shorts there, really. But as a buyer, this is kind of the areas that interest me. 30 pretty much on the dot, big psychological level, and the breaking test of the high. That's what interests me, because I'm expecting silver to pick up momentum and sort of follow what gold's doing in terms of that exponential behavior. So I do think there's a lot of upside for silver. I just need to be patient and wait for the opportunity to arise. But for now, that's kind of where I'm at. And that is where I'm at with silver and gold. Oh, okay, you take profit. Nice. We're still looking heavy, but had to follow the plan. Of course, my man. Of course, that's the most important bit. You following the plan is why you stayed in the trade in the first place. Because when you're in the trade and it's kind of just moving sideways and not looking good, it's very, very easy just to close the trade and just call it a day because it's not going anywhere. But the reason why you stay in the trade, because you were following a plan, and then you sat through the sideways, and then it finally get into profit, and then your plan told you to exit, and you exited, and you walk away with some profit from the market there. So yeah, that's all you have to do, really. Just follow that plan. Anything else is more of a disturbance, really. So yeah, congrats on that one, Ben. I'm still nursing my Aussie CHF trade, so hopefully we will continue, and I can do the same. But we'll see. It's a choppy pair, so I'm not expecting just a clean drop, even though that drop was pretty clean there. But I don't think it will continue cleanly. It might mess around a little bit before we do see the continuation. But yeah, still pretty bearish on Aussie CHF, because the way I'm looking at it is we've got pretty much a range here on the daily chart. So that's the high of the range there, that's the low of the range. And I'm effectively just looking to play the range back into the low. Possibly it might continue the trend as well, but that's what I'm looking at. So yeah, we'll see how this Aussie CHF goes, and hopefully pound yen can do the same as well. I know I'm asking a lot from pound yen to do that, but we shall see. The stop is in place there. So worst case scenario, we'll take the loss. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's kind of respecting that high there. So a lot of work needs to be done for us to break lower. But I'm still bearish on the yen pairs, still expecting a lot of downside. But a few things need to come into place before that will really come into play. Okay, so I'll go through CAD yen, but I'll take a look at dollar CHF first. Okay, you're short Euro yen 162.7, stops 163.6. Yet again, I'm short the strongest currency. Yeah, but the thing about currency strength is that it changes. Because of course you want to short the weakest currency, but then again, when you short the weakest currency, who knows, in a few hours it could be potentially be strong again, or can potentially gain strength. Because effectively, if you look at it, the strongest currency is the one that's probably the most likely to turn weak soon. Of course, when that will happen, you don't know. It might still stay strong for another couple of days and stop you out the trade, possibly. But the strongest currency is the one that's most likely going to turn weak at some point, because it needs to retrace. It's kind of overbought at that stage. In FX, we never say strong or weak for too long. We always snap back. So shorting the strongest currency, of course, might not be the best move immediately, but I would expect the stronger currency to weaken pretty soon. And it's just hopefully that can do it before it hits our stop loss sort of thing. And even if it does hit the stop loss first, it might just mean it pushed up a little bit more. You find a re-entry, and as long as you got a positive risk reward, you can make back the loss plus a lot more as well. So it's not the worst thing in the world, shorting the strongest currency, expecting it to weaken. Anyway, we'll take a look at USD CHF. Holy One said he's in a long position. Where am I looking? There we go. So yeah, Oz CHF, it did have that nice little break and retest, didn't it? I was eyeing that up yesterday because I was looking at the CHF pairs and I'm like, okay, Oz CHF has broken out this range and it looks like it's retesting the range now. So on paper, it looks like a really nice buy to me. And yeah, I'm like, I mean, maybe the entry could be a little bit better than the full hour. How's the hourly looking? Hourly's not looking too bad, to be honest. It's like price had a mini consolidation here as well. And looks like we're trying to see some momentum there. So the entry could be a bit better in terms of a nice candle closure there come London. But we are seeing some nice momentum. And the key thing is we're holding the level as well, which is around 0.853. So I like the buys there for USDC GF. It's simple break and retest. A lot of momentum in the breakup there from NFP. Now the price is coming back to retest that low. So if we're going to hold that, expecting upside, you've got a nice target there to aim for, back to NFP's high last Friday. And potentially we can go a lot higher than that as well. Could come back to this area up there around 0.868. If we're going to really see some upside, but we're coming from a big level of support on the higher time frames. This is a massive low, which gave us such a big push. Now we're back there again. So, it is possible to see a really big push if price wants to do that as well. We're coming from an area which has done it before. So I think the buys are good from the higher time frames down to low time frames. It all kind of lines up pretty well. I think dollar's going to have a big part to play in that. Then we've got CPI on Thursday, so that will play a big role. We've got FOMC minutes on Wednesday, but I think CPI is going to be the big one for this week. But yeah, in terms of technicals, I would expect something like that for dollar CHF. So I can't knock the buys at all. They do look pretty good. I wish the entry is a little bit cleaner though. But besides from that, I think the technicals line up really, really well for the buys. Okay, to the high. Yeah. So yeah, intraday trade back to the high. Sensible, looking good. Looking good, I have to say. How is USD looking? Yeah, for USD, I think we can correct and push high as well. So that should help out dollar CHF too, if we do get that break there. So yeah, not bad, on dollar CHF, not bad at all. We'll take a look at that Euro Yen position, Ben. Glad you found the channel. Swing trade gets lonely. I appreciate it, kid. Damn it, it does get lonely to be honest. I mean, so does day trading, I would imagine. Just a bit more intense, I suppose. But yeah, I always say with swing trading, you want to have something else going on. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can just be you paint in the spare time or something. It doesn't have to be necessarily money related. But with swing trading, 85% of my analysis happens on the weekend when the market's even closed. It's not even open on the weekend. So majority of my analysis happens on the weekend. Most of the week is just kind of staying up to date with price, entering trades, exiting trades, managing trades, which doesn't take too much. All I'm doing is moving a stop loss or closing a position or entering a position, which takes 5 seconds to do really. Of course, there's staying on top of things, journaling, reviewing trades, and all of that, which does take some time. But in terms of actual trading, swing trading, it's very, very minimal on the week. Most of my time is on the weekend reviewing and analyzing for the following week. So having something else to do to make sure you don't make any silly mistakes swing trading is quite important. Otherwise, you might just trip yourself up. Okay, so yeah, working 9 to 5. Yeah, working 9 to 5 is definitely, again, the vehicle of trading is a way to make money, which is not contingent to anything else. So you can work a 9 to 5, and that way you'd be good to actually build relationships and talk to people, because in trading there's no one to talk to. Like you said, it does get lonely. So it's good to have that balance and multiple streams of income as well. I'm a swing trader, enter on the 4 hour chart and watch on the 1 minute. Mate, that would drive me insane. That would drive me insane. I think that's a form of torture, really. Lock someone up in a room make them enter a trade on the daily chart or something, then make them watch on the 1 minute. That is a form of torture. Okay, let's take a look at this euro yen position. So for euro yen, I like the shorts for this one, but if I was looking to enter myself, I'd enter a little bit higher up around 164, or at least wait for price to test 164, because effectively this is the high I'm expecting price to hold and then see some downside from. Maybe we wick through it or something. That could happen, but effectively I don't want price to break through this, and I'm expecting price to see some downside. So that's the plan I have for euro yen, and I do think we can see that full swing right back to the low, which is 156, and potentially further as well. So I like euro yen to the downside. I like euro yen to the downside. It's just from an intraday point of view, we're moving a little bit correctively, kind of like we did over here as well. So I'm wondering if we're going to have another push to the upside first before we do get that sell. So that's why I said intraday yen pairs kind of look like good buys, even though I'm really bearish on them. They look like good buys intraday, but then I do eventually expect them to hold and see that reversal. So that's kind of where I'm at with euro yen. We might push back into that high at 164, then get the big sell. But effectively, yeah, I'm looking at a big move to the downside for this one, and looking for us to push into 156 eventually. Similar move to my pound yen trade, but that one's of course taking its sweet time to get going. Still looking at something like this as well. Yeah, that's our impulse correction. Now looking at the impulse there as well. Sort of similar with euro yen. Nice continuation lower. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with euro yen. I like the shorts, but we might have another bullish move back to the high first, but we'll see. Yeah, that's true as well, Ben. It's luck really. Just got to take the one with the best setup. Can't really tell which one's going to show strength or weakness. Yeah, very true. Yeah, you're not going to effectively know when if euro is going to just be really really weak. Of course, you can have a fundamental insight in terms of I'm expecting euro to be weak because of X Y Z, but then again, that weakness might only start to show in a week's time, or it could show right now. The timing is the difficult bit, and that's kind of where technical analysis comes from. Because even if you do have a bearish bias for euro, and because of some economic um, information, you expect euro to be very weak, then that could be the case, but the timing is the difficult bit, because it could start showing in the markets now. It might be up to 2 weeks time before you start to see that weakness as well. So there's definitely an element of luck, but it's calculated luck. It's probability. I could toss a coin and say it's going to land on heads, and it does land on heads. Well, I had a 50-50 shot of it landing on heads, but then the fact that it did land on heads was a bit of luck as well. So yeah, you create your own luck in the markets. 1 minute make your eyes go around in circles, they would do. Okay, targeting 161, nothing crazy, fair enough. You'll be in that trade until Christmas at this rate. Yep, it looks like it, my man. It looks like it. Maybe on Christmas it'll play out then, and that'll be my Christmas gift. But the swap will pile up there, I'm not gonna lie, because it's not cheap to hold pound yen, especially with the shorts. If I was buying, actually, I don't know. I think it's positive if you buy, I'm pretty sure, but it's definitely not as much as the sell. So yeah, I kind of want them to get going pretty soon, or just take me out the trade, Yeah, I do not want to be in the trade till Christmas. I can tell you that for free. What did you say? Looking 161, 161. Okay, back to the low there. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I just don't like the structure here, to be honest. Not that we can't break through, but if I was going to sell, I'd like to be a little bit higher up first. But then, yeah, I hope your trade plays out, because then it will probably help mine out as well. Need 3R just to break even of the swaps. Yeah, it's silly like that. I mean, that was the case with when I was trading exotics. It was the case like that. I needed at least like 1.5R just to break even really on the trade, and that's no joke, to be honest. Pound yen, like it's not effective to the trade. You're like, I could still break even, and the swaps won't be that big. But if I was trading pound yen consistently, it will definitely pile up, and it'd probably be a situation where I probably wouldn't look to swing trade pound yen shorts anyway. If I'm going to swing trade pound yen, it will only be buys at that point. But because I trade a wide range of pairs, I don't know where my next yen trade is going to come from. I don't mind it, to be honest. But when I was trading exotics, it was coming to a point where it was pretty big. So I just avoided trading exotics from that point because it just became ridiculous. But yeah, Euro Aussie is pretty bullish here. Really nice respect of that low, and it's looking very strong there. Pound Aussie is pretty strong. Pound NZD is looking strong as well. So Euro is definitely a lot stronger. Euro and pound is definitely a lot stronger than Aussie and New Zealand dollar right now. But again, that could change very quickly, which is why I'm kind of wishy-washy with strength and weakness indicators and stuff like that. I think in the now, if you're day trading, scalping even, then there could be some use with the indicators, especially if you like want to save some time in terms of your analysis and you just want to know which currency is strong, which currency is weak right now. Then they can help. But in terms of analysis, it doesn't really provide too much value because Euro looks exceptionally strong right now. Aussie looks really weak. That could turn around very quickly this afternoon, potentially. But yeah, now that Aussie Chef is break even for me, and I'm only in pound yen, I'm happy to get into another position. I know we do have CPI on Thursday, but I'm happy to get into another position because at least one is break even. So my next trade probably will be some longs on New Zealand dollar or Aussie dollar now. Those are the two pairs I'm looking to buy, which is ironic because I'm selling Aussie Chef still. So if I get into an Aussie dollar buy, I'm kind of selling and buying the same currency. So I probably won't do that, but I probably will look to enter NZUSD, even though it's a similar relation to AUD. But then again, the way I see it is if I'm buying a USD pair, it's kind of like a hedge for my yen and my Aussie Chef trade as well. So kind of ticks two boxes at the same time. But yeah, if this can give me a strong bullish engulfing, maybe some more wicks to the downside, a strong candle like that this afternoon or whenever, I will look to take a trade here for NZUSD, stops below the low, see if I can swing it back to the high, and that will be my next trade. And we'll see how that one goes. But same with Aussie as well, they both look pretty good. But I think I'll trade NZD because I'm not an NZD trade. What's up, Golden Bones? Hope you're doing good. Welcome. Eurobuy just gone off our analyze. Okay, so we got okay, so this is not for a signal, this is just you to analyze. Ben CAD pairs look good for shorts. USD CAD, G CAD. Okay, we'll have a look. So yeah, oil was really crazy yesterday because oil was very, very bullish, and then we shot up aggressively. I said some sales could look good as we come into this high here because we had this strong break of this low not long ago, and we did see a really nice rejection there, a really nice candle, and we've seen some downside. So CAD has, of course, lost a bit of strength now after that, but it has been pretty bullish since then. So this might just be end up giving us a nice correction for us to then see some continuation, which could mean some weakness for CAD followed by some strength, which kind of lines up to what you're looking at as well. But yeah, dollar CAD, I like the shorts, but it needs to stay below the low here, below the high here. Sorry. If it does go and break through that, then that just kind of invalidates the trade for me because it's the same structure, it's the same situation as with NZD USD on the daily chart. As long as price stays above the higher low here, the swing low, I'm bullish. Same thing with Aussie dollar. Stay above this swing low, I'm bullish. Same thing with pound as well. Stay above this swing low, I'm bullish. So for dollar CAD, it needs to stay below this point here for me to remain bearish. If price sees a really strong candle close above it and starts to trade above it, then yeah, I'll be looking to switch that bias out. And I'm going to be expecting something like that, maybe using this as support to base a trade from as well. So if dollar CAD keeps this up, I probably will be swapping my bias around for dollar CAD, which does put a spin on things, because that means is dollar strength here to stay, or at least CAD weakness anyway. So yeah, so dollar CAD I think is a nice place to short, but I need to see some strong rejections now. I need to see some really strong bearish engulfings on the full hour for me to short this. Otherwise, we might be seeing that break, and that will change things up for me big time, because I'll no longer be bearish, because I'm anticipating this structure to continue. And if it breaks, well, then I'm not going to expect it to continue anymore. And I'll be looking like this, possibly for a move back into the high up there as well. So yeah, I like the shorts. There's definitely in an area, in a vicinity to short. As you need to see that rejection big time. And at the moment, we're still pretty bullish. So things can turn around. Maybe we might wait for CPI on Thursday. Who knows? But nothing really brewing up for the shorts there. In terms of pound CAD, okay, pound CAD's not bad. Again, I'm still pretty bullish on pound CAD, so I wouldn't short it just yet. But it is trading at a nice level, so yeah, I can definitely see the shorts there with pound CAD. Really heavy drop, of course, from that was not from NFP, was it? That's on Thursday. But it's still coming to a very nice area for a short. So I do think this one looks good, but I would be wary because the trend is still very much to the upside. So I wouldn't look for anything crazy. A push back down to there, I think looks like a really sensible trade. And if you do start breaking through, then I'd watch out for the buys there as well. But yeah, some rejection around there. Maybe some entries in the hourly chart. Back to 1.772. I can make sense of that as well. But yeah, for dollar CAD, that is really interesting, because I really did like the dollar CAD shorts this week. It was a dollar pair, which if it did set up well, I probably would take the trade. It depends on other USD pairs as well. But yeah, now that it's looking really bullish and it might break the high, that is a big significant point for me. And if it breaks, I will have to look to change things up with USD CAD, really. We'll see how that goes. Okay, just to get ready for a buy at some point. Okay, fair enough. Looking to analyze steady before you take the trade there. Again, like I said, for the yen pairs, I think intraday buys look pretty good, but on the higher time frames, I'm still having that bearish bias. I do think we're coming down. I just need to see a few more indications. Swiss yen needs to come back below the high there. Pound yen needs to come back below that level there as well. Euro yen, I want it to respect 164. CAD yen, I kind of want to keep pushing. And then we look for some shorts there as well. New Zealand yen's doing a pretty good job, to be honest. It's respected the high pretty well. So let's keep that up. And then Aussie yen as well. Need to start pushing in. So yeah, the shorts still look good for me. Still looking for that big move down, but need to stay patient. And to be honest, I'm just going to hold on to that pound yen trade. If I wasn't in pound yen, I'll probably be looking to get involved in some of these yen pairs. Probably like maybe Aussie yen or Swiss yen. Get a nice stop loss above the high up here. And see if I can catch that move back down to the low. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to see that one out. To be honest, I really expected NFP to take me out of the trade, to be honest, last week, because it was so bullish. And I thought, okay, that's just going to break the high. But no, it came back down. I mean, it might be doing that to pause before it does push on. But because of the way it's moving, because of how it's so corrective, I do feel like pound yen is slowly gearing up for that push down. So I'm just going to hold it out for the stop loss and just see how things move. And it worked pretty well for Aussie CHF there. So yeah, in terms of what I'm focused on now, it definitely is between NZD USD longs and Aussie dollar longs. Potentially USD CAD shorts as well if it does set up. It's effectively the same trade. I'm looking to anticipate weakness in the dollar. And I say that because even though the DXY has been pretty bullish, we've come back into a pretty big low here. If I map that out, massive support down the left. Now that is going to be resistance. If we can hold that, I do think we can now reverse. If it does break through, then I do have a second area up here, which is where I think, again, we could reverse. Just if we have a bigger pullback and price wants to go through a bit of a bullish trend first, that could be the case before something like that happens. But for now, we're testing a pretty big level. We'll see some nice rejections so far, but I think the way price is shaping up, we probably will push up one more time, then maybe get the sell later on, and then that could be the catalyst for a big drop there for USD. But for now, nothing yet. It still looks like a correction to me. It still looks like a correction. Is anyone trading any USD pairs at the moment? I know someone was shorting Aussie dollar yesterday. I think that hit their take profit. Really nice drop there, especially with the Aussie news last night. I think gold and silver looks a bit awkward to trade. Wow, pound CAD's really pushing up there. Is pound strong or is CAD weak? Oh, it was a little bit bearish there. Don't know. I think pound's just pretty strong at the moment. Maybe it's a bit both. And the USD looks good for a bounce. Yeah, I think it does as well. I think it does. It's had a really, really big sell. I kind of like the retracement as well. It's kind of like it's really just tanked. Most of my pullbacks I like is when it's very corrective like this. But also sometimes if it just tanks as well, it's sometimes really nice because the market's really, really stretched. And sometimes you just get a natural relief in that price. Now, it may not go all the way and continue, but it's probably to a point where you can look to manage the trade, get to break even. If it does come back against you, still a break even or a small win. If it does fly, great news as well. But these kind of work the best because they're corrective and you kind of expect that correction to break and that descending channel to break. But sometimes the big drops as well can provide some really nice V-shaped patterns. I just need to see the entry down at the low. But yeah, I do think we drew a bounce, been a heavy sell. Still looking pretty bearish at the moment, but things can change pretty quickly. And if I can see some wicks develop like we did over there, that'd be great. And I'll look for an entry. But yeah, I think we're due a bounce as well. Waiting long entry in dollar CHF. Okay, but no good signal to enter and didn't tap area of interest. Okay, where is your area of interest? Okay, damn. Because it's already come back for a nice breaking test on the top of the level here. But maybe you're looking around there-ish, maybe. But for me, who focuses a lot on support resistance, that has definitely hit the level which I would look to anticipate upside from. Okay, just the dollar CHF by the moment. Currently Aussie CHF sell. Was that from a while ago or was that from yesterday? Lucky. Okay, 0.852 to 0.853. 852, 853. Okay. You're looking around there. Yeah, it may pull back into that, may not. It's already looking quite bullish at the moment. So it possibly might start to fly, or it may come back to retest. And that's the thing about trading. You can have your levels which you're looking to buy from, and it may get there, it may not get there. It's just a waiting game, really. Trading is a lot of waiting around, waiting for the time to pounce. And when it gets there, you strike. But again, for me, who looks a lot of support resistance, this is where the resistance area was formed. Price respected it really well, and now it's retesting. So that's kind of where I would enter. But I'm sure you've got your reasons as why you're waiting for those specific area to be hit. But yeah, in terms of the buys, I think it makes perfect sense. We've had a strong breakout of this area, big impulse. Now you're essentially looking at this as a pullback for the market to continue pushing. So it looks good to me. And then we're coming from a big level on the higher time frame as well, daily, weekly level here as well. So the buys make a lot of sense too on the higher time frames. So it could turn into be a really big swing trade if things go to plan as well. But yeah, I do like dollar CHF to the upside, I have to say. Okay, from yesterday. Okay, so you caught it right when it broke out, which is fair play to you, because I had to sit on that for a whole week before it did break out. And I'm pretty sure Mondays when we saw momentum kick in, yeah. So from the timing point of view, you timed it pretty well, I have to say that. Look at NZC CHF had a really nice drop as well. That one's been falling since I entered on Tuesday. It's just Aussie CHF took all its time to go and fall on Monday. And like we said earlier, that's the thing with currency strength and weakness. It's difficult to predict until you got a bit of hindsight. But then again, even with currency strength and weakness, it's different for different time frames. It's different for different time frames. High time frames, euro could be very weak, but on the lower time frames, it's strong. So it's like, will that strength last? Probably not, because the high time frames normally win. So even if you are shorting a strong currency at the moment, if on the bigger scale it's pretty weak, then you're in a good trade actually, because you're expecting that longer trend to continue. And if it's strong at the moment, you expect it to turn weak pretty quickly or eventually. Of course, if it's strong long term and then strong intraday as well, then it's always going to be a difficult sell there. But yeah, the CHF pairs is again a little bit corrected now. But yeah, for my main focus will just be with NZD, USD, and probably Aussie dollar as well. See which one can set up. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've been in 3 positions at once. It's just because pound yen and Aussie CHF just coincidentally were 2 trades that just consolidated on me for a while. Normally I'm into profit by now or taking a loss by now, but both of them are just taking their time. And then I didn't want to enter another position last week because we had NFP on Friday as well. So even if something did set up, I wouldn't have taken it because I didn't have 3 trades into NFP with full risk on all 3. I'm not that brave. But the NFP last Friday didn't do too much in terms of pairs outside the USD. Of course, dollar was pretty strong. But in fairness, it hasn't really done much since then either, because NFP can be a really nice catalyst to start trends or reverse trends. This NFP hasn't done that at all. It's just the one big bullish candle, and we've just been fizzled out since then, really. It's not like it was a big fake move for price to come down, or it was a start of a bullish trend. It hasn't done both. Maybe we're waiting to CPI to put the cherry on top, and then we'll start moving again. Or maybe FMC minutes might do that, but yeah, it has been a little bit dry since NFP, I have to admit, at least USD wise. I do like pound USD as well, but again, I'm not going to jump into every USD pair. I'm just going to pick the best one and ride that boat. And for me, and the USD does look the best. It does look the best. So I'll wait for entries there in the 4 hour. No need to try and rush things. Dollar CHF is coming to life, by the way. Looking really strong about Holy Ones, enjoying that. And then I'll stay patient with gold and silver. In terms of the CAD pairs, yeah, CAD pairs are a little bit awkward, I have to say. I think in terms of Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD, I like them both to the upside as well. They're both coming back into some nice levels for some longs. I like New Zealand CAD here. It's very similar to NZD USD, because if you look at the market structure, we've had that big push, pull back there, big push, now another big pullback. Go take a look at NZD USD. Push, pullback, push, the big pullback, coming back to that same low. So it's the same trade idea. It's just, of course, CAD and NZD, CAD and USD, sorry, will have their difference in strength. But in terms of the direction, they tend to move the same way as well. So if I'm looking to buy NZD USD, there's normally a trade on NZD CAD not far away. And that is the case with this one as well. A test of 0.831 looks like a nice place for a buy as well. Same with Aussie CAD. Actually, no, Aussie CAD actually broke my level. On the 4 hour, it did. Daily could still pull back above. But yeah, I did say yesterday that this is a nice place for a long. I do want it to hold. If it does break through, it does make things a bit awkward. Screen's bright blue when it turns red. That's sad. You don't want the color of the screen to dictate your mood, although it's very easy to do that. And I remember, especially early days, where it would be like a very stressful moment checking your MT4 or MT5 app, and you're kind of just waiting to see the color. You're not even waiting to see the figure, how much you're down or how much you're up. You're just looking to see the color. If the color's blue, whatever the number is, it's a good day. You just want to see it being blue. If it's blue, good. If it's red, we've got amendments to make. We've got judgments to do. Ben, okay, Aussie New Zealand dollar due for a bigger pullback. We saw a bit of weakness, didn't we? With Aussie. Yeah. That's just from the news. That's just from the news anyway. But yeah, I would say a pullback is again, it's like a pullback, but pullback where to and what from? Because the idea of a pullback is, okay, the market's now exhausted. It's taken a breather to then continue in its original direction. What is the original direction here? It's hard to tell, although we are slowly but surely building up some higher lows here, which is definitely something I'm taking note with Aussie New Zealand dollar. We're very consistent with all of these higher lows here. So I'm wondering if price is getting ready for a big breakout to the upside, back to the high over here. And I think we probably are, but then again, that could take another 10 weeks to actually get the breakout from. So it's nothing I'm going to look at personally, because yeah, it might take till Christmas to actually get the ball rolling, like my pound yen trade as well. So yeah, I think we'll probably get a reaction because it's such a big level. You can see prior, when we've been trading at these areas, the market's respected it very well. So I do think you'll probably see a reaction. But I think in terms of where we're probably going to come to, I think around here, there's a lot of noise around here, as we can see. So I think around 1.09286 looks good. And we can probably even form another higher low like we've been doing over here as well. So yeah, we probably see some downside for Aussie New Zealand dollar. Maybe prices slowly working away for a big breakout, but yeah, I'm not going to read into it really, because it could take forever to do it, and then it might not even do it as well. So that's always fun. But yeah, I would say a push into this area looks good. Again, nothing I'm looking to trade. It's just analysis, really. Nothing I'm really looking to trade. But it's a strong rejection of the high. we might get that drop there, 1.094, which is good because that means Aussie's going to be a bit weaker than NZD, which could help me out with my Aussie CHF trade in terms of, let's see, a bit more downside, of course, relative to NZD only. But I'll take that. And that might mean that NZD USD is more likely to get the trade than Aussie dollar if AU is going to keep falling. Remember last week's stream I said you have to prepare for the job center if the trades don't work. Of course. If it's red, you know exactly where you're heading to after. Yeah, trading can be very stressful. Very stressful if you don't have a plan and a method behind it, and not even fun to do as well. I remember when I first started trading, it was like, of course you want to make money, of course, but it's just fun to do as well in terms of just analyzing the market, coming up with a strategy, coming up with a plan, trading that, seeing if you're right, seeing if you're wrong, taking a loss, taking a win. Like all of that was very enjoyable process. But then when you start trading with money which you don't want to lose and you're taking bigger losses than you plan to and stuff like that, then it becomes a bit stressful and then you kind of just trying to stay alive really, and it's just not a nice process at all. So yeah, it can be a very dangerous place, especially because you're dealing with money. You don't want to lose money which you can't afford to lose, because not only are you suffering in trading, but then you're suffering elsewhere as well, which is not fun. And then you won't trade well either. You know, I don't know anyone who can trade well when everything's on the line. So yeah, it's an interesting thing, trading. Interesting thing, but the best way to trade really is when you can trade with an account which, let's say, if you do blow, if it does go to pot or the broker liquidates or something happens unforeseen, you know, you're not going to be out on the streets afterwards. If that's the case, then you always, even if you are relatively confident, as soon as you go through a bit of a rough patch, you will start looking to sweat a little bit more and be a bit more rash with your decisions. And if that gets worse and worse and worse, then you become more rash and make more silly mistakes as well. So if you can trade from that point of view, then the money in that account will always be, of course you don't want to lose it, but you just be a lot more calm with your trading decisions, and it will be such a smooth process and more enjoyable as well. And at the end of the day, we want to enjoy it too. I want to enjoy the process. But yeah, USD CAD is looking really bullish right now. Really bullish. And USD is not really pushing, is it? DXY is not really pushing up. No, I mean, maybe a little bit in the past few minutes, but it's relatively quite corrective. So that tells me that CAD is very weak at the moment. Yeah, CAD must be very weak. Euro CAD's pushing, Aussie CAD not so much, New Zealand CAD not so much, Pound CAD is. And yeah, oil is taking a bit of a beating right now. So it's a really strong rejection of that high. Maybe we are going to push back into this area here. But yeah, CAD is pretty weak, and I think oil's got a big part to play in that. And if oil keeps this up, we'll probably see CAD maintain its weakness. And that'll be very difficult to get the sell on dollar CAD, because we're in a nice area to short, as Ben mentioned. And you know, I fully agree, this is a really nice place to short. But if this level doesn't hold and we break through, yeah, I might have to reanalyze dollar CAD, rethink my bias, because at that point, I'm not going to be bearish anymore. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean I'll be bullish. It just means I won't be bearish. I'll probably just be in the neutral place, waiting for more information, waiting for more candlesticks. And then when the buys look clear and it's a good opportunity, then I'll be bullish again. It's not a case where I just switch automatically to bullish. It has to look good first, and things have to line up from the bullish side of things before I do that. But yeah, we're right at the high right now. We'll see if that can hold. Katsu Chef, okay, we'll have a look see. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out the channel. I do appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed so far. And of course, make sure you go and hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And make sure you check out Elevate Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that at the top of the chat. Discount opportunities will be available there when we do launch. So if you don't want to miss out, make sure you go and check it out. But yeah, CAD CHF, let me know what you're looking to do with CAD CHF, what time frames you're working on, what's your bias, what's the plan. CAD CHF is a relatively awkward market, I must say. Again, the higher time frames are still really, really bearish, spanning from the monthly down to the weekly, down to the daily, just been falling for a long, long time. So naturally, sales look good in this environment, of course, but then it comes to the timing of everything. I like the high over here if we're to get back there for a short. Not necessarily that I expect us to continue to sell off, because these are pretty sure this is the all-time low for CAD CHF. Yeah, I think it is. So I'm not necessarily expecting price to continue back to the low and beyond. It could do, but it's not what I'm be expecting, at least. So I think this is a nice place to short from. I also like this low here as well from a daily point of view. But yeah, in terms of this is all just very messy. So I'd stay well away from CAD CHF in here. I wouldn't look to buy. I wouldn't look to sell. I wouldn't look to do anything. If you look to play the high, the range, and low, that's different. If you're looking to buy down here and sell up there, you can probably find some nice trades there. But this is the area which I like the most because it's well away from the noise, back into some fresh resistance. We're probably going to get a reaction there. It may not continue all the way down there, but you can probably get a nice reaction. It may push, halfway, and that could be a solid place to have a take profit. Banks and partials, trade a stop loss, you name it. You can manage your trade and book some profits there that way. So in terms of area of interest, I think this is still a very solid place to get involved. Anywhere else is kind of like in the middle of nowhere, really, especially if you're trading in the middle here. And that's not to say you won't get a successful trade. It's just it's going to be a lot more difficult, and the odds of you getting wicked out on a random wick or whatever is just a lot higher. So CAD CHF, I like the shorts, but I wouldn't get involved until around 0.636. And yeah, that's where I'll start looking for some entries. Have you ever used another type of candlestick? No. I've looked at it before. I've definitely looked at them before, but I've never used it as in with a serious, in a serious light to actually use in my trading. I've used the line tool in terms of marking out levels of support resistance because they can be quite useful sometimes, particularly in the higher time frames. This I've never really used. I've looked at it, but never been serious to use it ever. And same with the line, the open, the close. Yeah, I've never used that ever. I'm just so used to candlesticks. That's my bread and butter. I don't see myself ever changing, really. Have you, Holy One? Have you used it before? What's up, Pavinator? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Happy Tuesday, right back at you. Aussie dollar, massive pullback from last week. Yes, I'm liking Aussie dollar as well. Really big move down. I'm still very bullish, so I'm keeping an eye out for some buyers. We'll go take a look at it in a moment. I agree, Ben. Line chart is very good for looking at structure. Sometimes get rid of the noise. Yeah, I agree, especially when the market's just very choppy and it's got wicks all over the shop. The wicks provide a lot of information as well, but in terms of just mapping out a solid piece of structure in terms of a level, high or low, the line chart is effective for that. But I like looking at the wicks as well because they provide a story too. I mean, I don't necessarily need to know pinpoint actually where the wick low is, but looking at a big wick like that does provide a bit of information. So I think the line chart is effective. But I would always keep an eye on the candlestick chart as well. But I agree. Tom, what's good, my man? Hope you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. I had a dream making my 12 withdrawn 11 traders. No way. When's the launch? Well, we're looking to launch come next weekend. So on the 17th of October. That is when we're looking to launch. But that is beautiful to see that you're dreaming of your 12th withdrawal. I mean, at that point, you probably have to get yourself an Elevating Traders t-shirt and a cap or something. Probably put that for free in your 12th withdrawal. Elevating Traders t-shirt and a cap. Oh, okay, because my phone, but I have candlesticks in gray. It takes the okay, yeah. I used to do that as well. Make everything gray and ignore the green and the red. I tried it 4 years ago. I didn't really see the point. Yeah, some things work, some things don't. I mean, I've seen people on social media use the Heikinashi, if I'm saying it correctly, candlestick chart. But yeah, I can see the logic behind it because it shows momentum. That's the key thing: momentum coming, momentum going. But I've just become so used to candlesticks that I can't see myself changing. And yeah, I used to use the gray and ignore green and blue as well. But I don't know. I just like the green and the blue. I mean, green and the blue, the green and the red. I think aesthetically it looks a little bit nicer. And I know trading is not about aesthetics, but sue me. Anyway, let's take a look at Aussie dollar. So yeah, Aussie dollar, really big move down. I'm still looking at this as retracement of this bullish move here. So I'm looking for the turning point. I'm expecting price to push right back to the upside. I'm still bullish on Aussie dollar. The next area of interest for me is the high over here. And if that fails, the next area of interest is the low here. As long as price stays above 0.662, which is the swing point here on the daily, I'm still bullish on Aussie dollar, looking for a big move to the upside, right back to the high. So very, very bullish on Aussie dollar. And those are my two levels of interest, roughly 0.671 and 0.664. Now I'm just looking for entries in the 4 hours. So looking for wicks, looking for bullish engulfings, and then that will trigger me into the trade. Then yeah, entries there, and then buys back up again. I mean, I'm looking for buys on both Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar. So I'm going to see which one gives me the better setup. I'm more kind of favoring NZD at the moment, but things might change and we'll see. But yeah, I'm looking for buys for both of them really. And Aussie dollar is just about coming into that first level of interest. So I'm going to see how we react. Nothing right now, still looking really bearish, but we're coming to some nice places for some buys. I'll whip out the old Fibonacci from the low to the high, where we're coming into. We smash through the 0.618. We may go and tag 0.786 before we turn around. But yeah, we're coming to some really nice areas where I do expect buys to jump back in. So yeah, I think it's still a pullback until proven otherwise, until we break the low here. Still looking at this as a pullback for a big buy. Do you use chart colors in your personal trading week or just for the stream? No, I use it in my personal trading as well. For my personal trading though, I do use a white chart though. The colors are still the same, but you use a white chart because it looks better. And I've always used the white chart as well, but because of some people's eyes on the stream complaining it's too bright, which is why I use a dark mode for the stream. But yeah, in terms of my personal trading, I use green and blue, green and red as well. Again, it's in whatever suits you. If you want to use gray or black or just one neutral color, I think that's effective too. It can make you less emotional. You see a big red candle that can definitely get some fear into you or trigger some unnecessary emotions, and you can make some unnecessary decisions. So I can understand that 100%. But yeah, it doesn't really affect me too much, and I like the aesthetics as well. So I'm guilty of that as well. The chart colors look clean, to be fair, mate. You should see my white. You should see my light background chart. That looks a lot better than this. It looks good, but it's not quite calling. And trying to use a red bullish candles and green bearish. I've never seen that before. That doesn't make any sense, really. Because at the end of the day, you still got the green and the red, so the emotion is still there, just backwards. And at least for a bearish candle, it's going down and it's red. I don't understand that one. That one baffles me. Tom, that's a good idea. Yeah, it's actually a good idea. It is actually a pretty good idea. Journal and a custom mug, 8 t-shirt, 12 for hoodie, towel shirt. Man, he's gonna have a whole kitted house at the end of the day. 25th withdrawal. Yeah, wallpaper in your house, elevating traders, custom sofa, mattress as well at this point. I mean, for a 25th withdrawal, you definitely do deserve a custom mattress, so. Yes, I can. To be fair, I was getting a lot of complaints, to be honest, about a year ago or whenever I changed it, that it was a bit too bright for people's eyes. So yeah, just looking out for them, I guess. Hey, what's up? Long time no see. Hope you're doing good. Dollar CHF, okay. Got an entry 0.85320. Same trade. What I recommend for a take profit. How I trail. Okay, I'll go through that. I think Cody one's in a similar position. Red is lucky color in China. It's the national color. Oh, okay. Each want to do the opposite of everyone. I didn't know that. Oh yeah, I mean it's in the flag, isn't it? But yeah, I mean that makes no sense to me at all. No, so I mean I can maybe understand the logic, but the logic's flawed as well. But hey, I'm not going to judge. Yeah, you can do what you want with your colors. But yeah, in terms of dollar CHF, so yeah, I like the buys here for dollar CHF. I like the buys because it looks to me that price is having a really nice break and retest of this level here. So we had a really big range as price was dancing on this low for ages. Finally got the breakout last week off the back of NFP. It looks like it's come back for a really nice retest. So naturally, I'm just expecting us to see a lot more upside now for dollar CHF. Next kind of major target would be the high there. And it depends what you're looking for, really, out of your trade. If you're looking for a big swing trade, you've got a bigger stop loss on them, then of course you can have bigger targets. If you have a really refined entry like this and your stop losses are just like this here, then even a push back to the high, you're still looking at almost a 1 to 3 potentially, or more as well. So I think a target at that high makes a lot of sense, and calling it a day there makes a lot of sense. If you're looking to trail, then you're probably looking just to trail below hourly structure. So if the market was to push up, create some support, break that resistance, then that's kind of what I would be looking to trail behind, because this is more of like an intraday trade sort of thing. It could go a lot further. It could go a lot further because it's reversing from a pretty big level. So who knows? This could really fly if it wants to. But at the end of the day, this is kind of the range we're working with. The break there, the pullback, the push back to the high. Anything more is kind of a bonus, really. So trails can look good. I would say hourly structure is the way to do it, really. I think hourly probably gives you enough room to breathe. 4 hours probably too much, and 30 minutes might not be enough. But if you want to secure some gains back at the high or close the trade completely, I think that's a smart move to do as well. So yeah, that's kind of how I look at dollar CHF. Maybe closing 50% at the high and leaving the rest to run, seeing how far you can take it. Again, there's no right or wrong answer to it, to managing a trade. It's just consistency if you're going to do it the same way all the time. But if you're going to have a trail, I'll look at hourly structure. If you're just going to have a hard take profit, I think 0.86 is the area. But yeah, I like the trade though. Really nice break and retest, and there's a lot of room for us to run into as well. And dollar still looks strong at the moment as well, so it looks good to me. Like walking into Tesco backwards for 3 miles without turning your head. I agree, to be fair. Green bearish candles, red bullish candles. I don't know I don't even know how to analyze that, to be honest. I'll be guessing my analysis. Is price actually going up? I'm not too sure. What are you trading today? So yeah, I'm still in my Aussie CHF short, which finally saw some downside yesterday. Hallelujah. So we had a really nice move there. Been in the trade for about a week. Really nice move. I've trailed to break even. I'm not trailing profit just yet. I'm giving Aussie CHF a bit of room to breathe because it's a bit more of a choppy pair. So I don't want to just be stubborn and just have a trail stop loss right behind it. I could have had it above the high here, but it's too close to price in my opinion. So I've still got it at break even, and I'm holding out for a push to the low here. If it can break through this low, this high, sorry, then I'll probably start to look to trail it there and then further if necessary. But this is kind of the midpoint of the trade, really. So I want price to go and break through. I'm just cleaning up the chart. I want price to go and break through that area. Then I'll look to trail a bit more aggressively. But right now, kind of testing as support. So might see some upside, a pullback, and then the continuation. Let's just hope it doesn't take me out of the trade. And then, yeah, looking for a push into 0.56. So that's still on the card, still holding on to that one. And then, yeah, I'm still holding on to pound yen as well, which is not moving well at all. Entered this one a couple of weeks ago, not quite a couple of weeks, but probably about a week and a half ago now. And yeah, it still hasn't hit my stop loss, so I'm going to respect the stop loss. If it does go and hit it, it hits it. The loss is pre-planned. So if it does hit the stop loss, we move into the next position. But I'm still holding out for a big move because I'm still really bearish on the yen pairs. I still think there's a big move to the downside for them. I think intraday we probably will see some upside in the immediate future, but I do think these guys will topple out because I'm still looking at a really big continuation of that drop in July. So I do think price is getting ready for continuation of that move. And I'm kind of expecting the same thing across the board for the yen pairs. It's just about when will we see that drop, when will that high form, is really the question. So I'm going to hold it out. I've got the stop loss there. So worst case scenario, we take the SL. But yeah, be holding on to this position and we'll see how it pans out. But those are the two pairs I'm looking at. So one break even, one in a bit of drawdown. And then I'm looking for a third position in USD for a long, which is trading at a nice level and just need to wait for the entry signal to get the buy really. I don't want to see price break through this because this is the bullish structure I'm looking to trade. If it does break through, then that is a big red flag, at least for the buyers anyway. So yeah, I want price to hold into that level. I'm waiting for a nice bullish engulfing, some nice wicks to present. I'll look for the entry there. Maybe I might get it this afternoon. Stop loss below, and then I'll look to see if I can target back at the high there. But that's the plan I've got for NZUSD. I'm looking at something similar for Aussie, but I'll pick between the two, which one looks the best, and then yeah, I'll take that trade. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. Shorting pound yen, shorting Aussie CHF, and maybe hopefully along on NZUSD maybe later today. And then yeah, it's going to manage those positions, and hopefully pound yen can give me a massive drop. Dollar CHF looks like something out of textbook, month-long accumulation-based breakout. Yeah, true. Perfect test of the high in range continuation. Yeah, very, very true. When you speak about a range breakout and a retest, that's literally what you envision in your mind there. A range breakout retest. And it doesn't always look like this. Sometimes you might get, a little dodgy wick that pierces through that would have stopped out a bunch of people, and then you see the move. Of course, as I say, if that does happen, if you do get caught out of a stop loss like that, just look for the re-entry as long as the trade is still valid. I'm not saying just buy randomly, but if the trade is still valid, look for the entry if you do get stopped out earlier. And sometimes price might not quite have enough to retest the level, might just miss it by a little bit. This has literally smacked the level head on. A little bit of a dance there on the lower time frames, and now we're seeing some really nice momentum there. So yeah, dollar CHF literally looking like a textbook. Really nice move at support, build up. Now probably continuation. So that's a good point there, Ben. Really good point. I always like those little textbook trades as well. The ones that look neat and tidy and they play out just as you expected. But of course, the market's not always like that. Every situation is unique. Things are different. Higher time frames look different. But the idea is the same though. The idea is the same. So yeah, dollar CHF looking really good, I must say. I think Holy One is liking that. Tom, I look at on my CJ trade, managed to jump in. GJ longs, okay, was 10 pips shy. I was now up 33 pips in profit. Nice. Looking for a jump to 1%. What did I say? 1% to 196. Yeah, I mean, when positions do that, they come very close to your stop loss and then they reverse in profit. Because there's that kind of internal battle whether you should close the trade or you should hang on to the trade and let it play out. Because there's that thinking that, okay, if I close the trade now, I can take a smaller loss than I would do if it hits my stop loss. So I kind of save myself a few pips there. Yeah, I save myself 10 pips. Or I could just do nothing, see if it does hit my stop loss, take the full loss, or maybe it does reverse back into profit. It's always that kind of internal battle. The way I look at it is, if you take the trade, you accepted the risk in the first place. So if it does hit your stop loss, it's pre-planned risk. It's not like something unexpectedly happens and you don't know how much you're going to lose. As long as you manage your risk and you know how much you're losing, then respect the stop loss because you put it there for a reason as well. I would assume so. You haven't put it in a random place. So if the market hasn't hit the stop loss, then you would imagine the trade is still valid. So see it through, give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Of course, sometimes it will go and hit your stop loss, just like with any other strategy. But it's planned, it's managed, and see the trade out. But looking good. Always down in case two trades running, one goes paired. If Aussie CHF risk is removed, then jump into dollar CHF. Barely gone anywhere, but I like your conservatism. Yeah, I mean, I've got my plan. I mean, again, with my trading, everything in terms of what I want to trade is already set the weekend before. So Aussie CHF was never really a plan, a pair that I traded to trade this week, to be honest. I did see the breakout on the weekend, but I had other pairs I was looking to get involved with, and they looked better at the time. And I still do like the USD, which is still a pair I'm looking to trade, and Aussie dollar as well, and dollar CAD too. So those are the pairs I'm looking to get involved with, and they're setting up soon as well. So that's where my focus is. But you're completely right. Dollar CHF looked good, retest there, but it's just not a pair I was looking at the time. But yeah, it's looking really good. I have to say, it's looking good. I'm jealous. Hopefully my positions can go. But then again, if I do get into dollar CHF long, it's kind of like a hedge against the Aussie CHF as well, because it's either Aussie CHF is going to push up with dollar CHF. I get stopped at break even here, but then I make money on dollar CHF, or Aussie CHF keeps falling, then USD CHF fails. I lose money on dollar CHF, but then the risk reward will make up for that on Aussie CHF win as well. So it could be a nice hedge play too. And that's kind of how I'm looking at the USD position, which hopefully I can get involved with. But yeah, dollar CHF was never on the horizon for me. But it's definitely a nice trade though. AUD ends the alarm by soon. Wow. Okay. Holy One, you are active this week. Yesterday you're talking about a lot of alarms. Today another alarm is gone. But this is just for analysis that you're not going to buy it yet. Dollar CHF as a swing trade, how would you go about it? What's your stop loss so I can get a bit more information? But again, if I'm looking at it as a swing trade, yeah, effectively how I look to swing is from level to level, high to high. This is a really nice low. So the idea is we could go pretty far if we're really going to see a reversal from here. And there is a swing high over here, which gave us our last drop, which is definitely a place I would watch out for. And as we approach 0.867, sorry, I would be wary of that. But the way I trail is just don't have a target in mind. Just trail the stop loss below and wait for the market to eventually take you out of the market. So it could be up here, it could be down there, it could be a lot higher. You don't know how it's going to go. If you're looking to trail, you're probably looking at an hourly trail, like I mentioned before. If you want to, you can look at a 4-hour structure, but then that means you can have a bit more risk on the table, wider stop losses as well. Of course, it will keep you in the trade longer effectively. But then again, you might not trail as much as well. So if it does reverse, you probably won't lock in as much gains either. But yeah, I would again, like I said, if your stop loss is like here, you took a trade there, your stop loss is here, and I'll look at the hourly. Using the 4-hour to trail that trade doesn't really make too much sense. So I'll look at the hourly structure. So as price pushes, if you create some support and then break the high again, then that's where my stop loss will go, and then continuously. If you've got a wider stop and you've entered like this, something like that, then you can probably afford to use 4-hour structure. So if you go and break the high there, you pull back larger, then your stop loss can be trailed from here to there, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I'll probably look at the hourly. I think the hourly makes the most sense. But yeah, I wouldn't have a take profit. And if you were to have a take profit, it would be around this area here, if you're looking for a big swing and not the high here. I feel like I marked my area in dollar CHF wrong. How you make your areas as it's centered base and area marked and move higher. Well, again, with support resistance, it's not an exact price point. That support resistance is kind of like an average, really, which is why I use a zone. I don't use a line like this, for example. I normally use that to mark like major swing points like that. But when you're looking at support resistance, I use the zone tool because it's an average. It might be a little bit above it, a little bit below it, but generally speaking, that average area is where support resistance is where buyers and sellers are getting active. Normally, a rule of thumb for me is when I'm drawing support resistance, I always take the first point of interest, the first point where the market stopped. So, for example, in a range, if the market starts forming a range like this, let's make it a little bit more awkward because ranges are very rarely completely flat. So for me, when I'm drawing support resistance, I would always take the first point as the main range area, and the first point there. So these to me would be like mini fake outs essentially, and a little bit there as well. But I always kind of rule of thumb, I look at the first point, and that's where I mark my level of support resistance from. So for example, for here, when I'm drawing the level, I always mark it from the first point, which is to me this point there, and the first point, move this out of the way, and the first point, which is this bit here as well. So that's where I draw it from. Then everything else is kind of like fake outs to me above and below it. So when I draw it here and then it kind of comes back to retest there, it looks like it's bang on the money. But sometimes in other situations, it could have came back to retest the high and then I would have missed the trade. So your trading is not absolutes. It's kind of probabilities. It's probabilities. So there'll be some times where you have an awkward kind of range, retest a different element of where you're focusing on, but really that's kind of where I draw my level there. Another tip is look at where the most tests are as well. So if the market focused on that area like 4 or 5 times and focus on another area just once or twice, where if then you want to focus on the 4 or 5 time level rather than the once or twice. But normally I look at the first point there. So hopefully that made sense. Yeah, an area not a line. Area can be 30 pips range. Find the entry inside the 30 pips. Yeah, when it comes to the line, that because bounces off blue. Yeah, again, that's the thing with a line, because with an area you've got more room to work with. With a line, it's an exact price, and you have to be realistic. We're retail traders here, working with limited information. Very rarely you're going to call a price turning around from a very specific price just because a bit of a few trading patterns and use a few technical indicators. Of course, on average, sometimes you will call price to the pip, to the line. But in general, it's an area where you're looking to get involved with. And then once price is in that area, then you're looking for your setups, your entries to get involved. So yeah, you're looking at areas really. Lines look cool when they work out and it hits to the pip, but very rarely that's the case. And you want to give yourself some room as well to work with. So yeah, that's kind of how I'll look at it. But yeah, it's a really nice move on dollar CHF. I feel like we're focusing on dollar CHF so much, but I know a few people are trading it. But yeah, it's a really nice textbook move, and momentum is looking really good. And dollar isn't necessarily that strong, is it? I mean, it's seeing some upside down the alley, but it's not flying. It's like CHF is a little bit weak. Yeah, CHF is a little bit weak, so it's helping out dollar CHF. But DXY isn't necessarily strong. Okay, dollar CAD is seeing some resistance now. We'll see how that develops. NZUSD, what we doing? Still looking moderately bearish. Aussie dollar, what we doing? Turning around a little bit. I need a lot more than that. A lot more than that. But yeah, that's where my focus will be. Now that Aussie CHF is break even, I'm not really so focused about it anymore. Of course, I'll be keeping tabs in terms of managing the trade, but whether it goes against me or for me now, there's no loss. Of course, I still want it to go for me, but there's no loss on the table. With pound yen, I'm just going to see what happens with this guy. Where is pound yen? I've accidentally removed it. Looks like I have. With pound yen, I'm just going to let that one do its thing. There's nothing I need to do in terms of managing the trade because it's not in profit. The stop loss is there; it will do it for me. So we'll see what that one does. But in the meantime, now I'm kind of focused on the USD buys, Aussie dollar buys, and dollar CAD sells. That's where I'm focused at now. So we'll see how those go. And then in terms of other pairs look okay, but there's nothing really that looks ripe for me to get excited about. And again, I don't want to be in too many positions as well. I've already got 2. The third one's not too bad. Don't want to start looking at 4 and 5, especially with CPI coming on Thursday as well. And these are not day trades either. These are swing trades, so they'll last a while. It's not like I'll be in the trade today and out tomorrow. Most likely that's not the case. But Aussie CAD looks okay, but I prefer Aussie dollar. So yeah, that's kind of where my focus will be. UJ follows suit, another alarm. All ticking off today, I guess. Wow, pound CAD is really pushing there. Pound CAD is getting excited. Yeah, I think intraday the buys do make sense in the yen pairs. I'm just not very bullish because of my high time frame outlook. I'm looking for big sells. JK Swag, give me one trade. Give me one gold trade, bro. To be fair, gold's actually not a bad place for a buy. It's kind of pushed on a little bit now, so maybe the entry's a little bit late. But I was discussing this earlier in the stream. This is not a bad place for a buy. Stop loss kind of underneath that area. Looking for an entry there. That was a nice entry candle at 9, which closed at 10 a.m. UK time. So that looked like a nice place for a buy, really. And it's kind of pushed on a little bit. So I think the trade's kind of left the station. But effectively, I'm looking at this for gold to push back to the high, at least back to some of these areas here. Because effectively, gold's ranging, but we still got a lot of momentum to the upside. So I'm still expecting us to continue and eventually do something like that. But really, the trade I'm looking at for gold is the bounce off the low or the break and retest. Hopefully something similar to dollar CHF. But again, manage risk, be careful. I'm not telling you to get into this position. That's just how I'm seeing gold. You know, at the end of the day, if it doesn't play out, it's a loss in your account. You know, I'm not taking gold myself. So make sure you do manage risk and everything. But that's kind of what I'm looking at for gold. Okay, so only because intraday they go off regularly. Before they were every few days. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, again, intraday you're going to get more opportunities in the market. You just need to make sure you manage them, because I know for some people that could be overwhelming. You know, do I take all the trades? Do I take one or two? Which ones do I take? As long as you can have a sort of plan for that, then yeah, you can digest that and manage that pretty well. But anyway, guys, we have come up to the end of the stream. If you guys have found the stream useful, informative, educational, entertaining, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It really does help out, guys. And please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already as well, so you don't miss out on any uploads in the future. Make sure you do hit the bell. That will help with that. Check out Elevating Traders Discord channel. Completely free to join at the link. The link to that is at the top of the chat. Discount opportunities will be available there when we do launch, so make sure you go check it out so you don't miss out. But guys, we'll be live again tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. as usual. Have a great day, people, and I'll see you all in the next one.